got so much motherfucking design on right now. Bring it down, bring it down, make it clap. I got 3 whole thoughts on the block. Bitches on my line, and you know.
Halo guys, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Anindia Nafisatul Zahra from class 4E. Here I will explain the material from language learning assessment for group 1 to group 5. For the first is from group 1, I will explain the definition of evaluation. According to Guba and Licol, the definition of evaluation as a process for describing and evaluating and judging its merit and worth. The learning evaluation is the process of systematical collecting, analyzing, and interpreting information to determine the achievement of learning objective, function, and principle of learning. And then from group 2, here I will explain the procedure in constructing a test in Bloom taxonomy. The first is determine learning objective, and then the second determine the learning competency you want to achieve, and then the third is determine the realm of intellectual ability according to learning competency, and then the fourth is use appropriate key verbs, and then the fifth is determine appropriate learning media. And then from group 3, here I will explain the material about the evaluate in term of its usefulness in measuring student. Tests are categorized into 3 types based on their utility in measuring student performance, of course. The first is diagnostic test. The diagnostic test assess student initial grasp of the subject before learning begins, aiding in identifying individual learning needs. The strengths in diagnostic test is provide initial insight, identify learning gaps, and then the weakness is limited in tracking progress over time, like comprehensive assessment. And then the example is pre-test conducted prior to commencing a learning unit. And then the second is formative test. Formative test is evaluate grades of student collectively, promoting fast feedback and active learning. And then the strength from formative test is rapid feedbacks, facilitates instructional adjustment, and encourage engagements. And then the weakness for formative test is require additional administration time, focus on specific aspect. And then the example of formative test is daily quizzes and group discussion with immediate evaluation. And then from the third is summative test. Summative test the assess student final achievements at the end of the learning period, offering comprehensive overview. The strength is holistic assessment, provide the final achievement summary, serve as evaluation. And then the strength is holistic assessment, and then the weakness is like immediate feedback, potential to include anxiety. And then the example is final exam. Okay, for the group 4, here I will explain the material about and for the group 4, here I want to explain the material about the principle of writing essay question. The first is question need to match what the curriculum, and then the second is make sure it's clear what the answer should cover. And then the third is use word that ask for a detailed answer, like why and explain. And then the fourth is make sure the question is easy to understand and doesn't have confusing word. And then the 5, if you use table of picture, make sure they're easy to see and helpful. The 6 is Tell what the right answer are right after asking the question. And then the 7 is explain how to answer the question clearly. And then here I want to explain the material from group 5 about from group 5. Here I want to explain the material from group 5 about the characteristic of question. Evaluating how good a question is involves looking at the different things. The first is validity, of course. The second is display validity. This is about how people understand the question, like how options are arranged in multiple choice question. And then the third is context validity. This checks if the equation match what students are supposed to learn. It's about if the equation fits with the goals of the lesson. And then the fourth is predictive validity. This is if the question can tell us how well a student will do in the future, like if can predict how good they'll be at English based on how they study. And then the fifth is construct validity. This needs the question to measure a concept in different ways. If they're measuring the same thing, the results should be similar, but if they're not, they should be different. Okay, I think enough from me. The explanation from group 1 to group 5. I think enough. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.